Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I do questions on Wednesday, and I post them both up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I would like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They are an online therapy company, master's level or PhD level. They are international. So anywhere in the world you want to get to a BetterHelp therapist, you can, which is awesome. And I've gotten really good feedback. People are liking them. They like their therapist. If for some reason you don't, you just go on and say, hey, didn't mesh with them. Please put me with somebody else. You'll fill out some questions and they will place you with a different therapist. Their packages are immensely reasonable. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, on to the questions, shall we? All right. Is there a healing of PTSD, of CPTSD, or do you just learn how to cope with it? Well, a little from column A, a little from column B. So you learn how to cope with it, and that in turn leads you to kind of heal a lot of it. Now, are you always going to have PTSD triggers? Probably, depending on the abuse. Like I said, in Sunday's discussion, I talked about how I still get triggered sometimes. I can't watch things where kids are being abused or it's even inferred or, dogs, cats. I can't do it. So, you're probably always going to have those triggers, but it's your ability to respond to them better. Your ability to be mindful of them is better. You're able to go, oh, this is a trigger. I'm getting triggered. Breathe. Okay, amygdala, I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's fine. This is just a television show. I do not need to go into DEFCON 1, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, you do heal it in a certain level, but you also cope with it on a certain level. So it's a little from column A, a little from column B. And really, I kid you not, the key to everything is self-esteem and boundaries. Self-esteem and boundaries. You got good self-esteem, you got good boundaries, it's less likely that an abuser is going to target you. They look for people with no self-esteem, no boundaries, people-pleasing, etc., etc., etc. So CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker, The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk, the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi, The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker, The Inner Child Workbook by either Catherine Taylor or Lucia Cappuccioni. All of those are going to help you and help you understand why you're having the reaction you're having. So, for example, if you're having panic attacks and there's no words, okay, was the abuse that you went through pre-verbal? Was it when you were little kid? And that's when you want to get with a good trauma therapist, do the Inner Child Workbook and start figuring out, where did these feelings come from? So, for example, I had a client that was working the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor, and she called me up and she was like panicking, and she was like, I can't breathe. And I'm like, okay, stop. You're okay. You're all right. Take a slow, deep breath in, hold it, let it out. Super slow. You're safe. You're okay. Once I got her calmed down, her system calmed down, then I was like, okay, well, what's going on? Well, I feel like I can't, my throat is closing down. I can't breathe. My throat is closing down. And I said, did anybody ever physically harm you like that? Did they choke you? No, that never happened. Did they leave you alone in the crib to cry it out? Oh my God. Yes, I would be left alone for what seemed like hours, and I was just crying until I couldn't cry anymore because I lost my voice. And that's where the abuse was. So is it going to bring stuff up? You betcha. And it's supposed to, so that you can remember it and deal with it. Do you have to remember it? No, but it's enough to know that something happened in and around that age range so that you can start comforting that inner child, re-raising that inner child, empowering that inner child, so that you are not responding to things at the level of a 2-year-old. You're responding to things as an adult, as opposed to the inner child doing the responding. So yeah, that's what you want to do. So it is going to bring stuff up. Absolutely. And we do get better. We cope with it better. Is it always going to be there? Well, yeah. I mean, we've been through intense trauma. That does not just magically go bye-bye. I mean, that's still going to be there. When I have to deal with somebody that reminds me of my dad, oh, you betcha I get triggered and my fight instinct kicks in because I'm done fleeing with those types of people. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's absolutely going to always always probably be there. So, but it does get better. It does get better. Okay, now we're on a healing path. My ex uses his psych background to make people who call out his behavior appear crazy. That's what they do. Victims have to deal with his abusive diagnosis. How do we heal doctors' social abuse? Okay, so here's the deal. Abusers are attracted to positions of power. They are doctors, lawyers, judges, therapists, officers of the law, officers of the court. They are attracted to positions of power. Sorry, my allergies are crazy today. If someone is abusing their position of power, the only thing you can do is turn them in. If you go to any state board and you look at why therapists, counselors, psychiatrists, etc., get dinged by the state board, it's generally because they are violating an ethics code. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. Remember, psychopath, narcissist, Machiavellian, believe they are above the law. They really truly believe that they will never be caught. So if somebody is doing ethics violations, you got to turn them in. And you don't necessarily have to be the client. I mean, if you're another practitioner and you know that another practitioner is doing ethics violations, you are obligated to report them and turn them in. Just the same as if another therapist was showing up to a session drunk or high on drugs or whatever, and you knew about it, you are obligated to report them. You're a state mandated reporter. So you turn them in, and that's what they get dinged at because they're so arrogant. They do these outrageous. Most of them are sexual. That's the thing that always blows my mind. Most of the dings that therapists get, psychiatrists, etc., is they're either doing something sexual with their client, or they are borrowing money from their client, or they're going into business with their client, or they're doing some sort of ethical violation. And they think they're not going to get caught. So, education, go on to the ACA and look up the Code of Ethics. The APA, American Psychiatric Association, also has a Code of Ethics. If the ethics are being violated, report them. That's what you can do. Same with doctors, same with anybody else. This is why I'm glad, and I talked about this on Sunday, that Gabby Petito's parents are suing the Moab police because this needs to be brought to the light. This needs to be dealt with. This is a problem. This is not okay. So, yeah, it is in the public's best interest that these abusers get dinged by their respective boards if they can. So, how do you heal doctors' social abuse? Well, like I said, if you can, you turn them into their respective state boards. You let as many people know as possible without defaming them. Because remember, you don't want to get sued because these jackwagons are so happy because they don't want their secrets known and they're vindictive. So, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's a matter of this is not acceptable behavior and we're not going to put up with it. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. That kind of thing. All right, I hope that answered that question. And yeah, they do make their targets of abuse and the people who see them look crazy. And they will use all of the psychological psychobabble is what I call it. So, basically, unless they are diagnosing you in a professional setting, they have no business doing that. That's kind of something you want to take a look at. So, are they going to smear? Yes, absolutely. Are they going to try to make the target look crazy? Yes, absolutely. And you just stick to facts and figures and report them if you can. So there that is. I hope that helped answer the question. If not, let me know on either the comments below or you can IM me on Facebook. Okay. Question. CPTSD and fear of success. Totally common. Totally common. Totally common. So when I first started my career, I've always been a good student. So I was doing really well in school, graduated. That was great. Opened my own business, was terrified. Really, it was kind of like, oh my God, do I know what I'm doing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going to help people, not harm people? That kind of thing. Then when I wrote my book, I told my family and my friends, I am perfectly okay if this book does not sell a single book. I know how to handle failure. I know how to handle things not going well because I'd been trained by my dad. My dad would ruin every single good thing that ever happened. What I was not prepared for was being successful and all of the fear that brought up. So in writing the book, in doing what I'm doing now in my practice, I am successful. And in the beginning, I was freaking right the bleep out. You betcha. Because I didn't know how to handle it. I had no clue how to be successful, that it was okay to be successful. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I knew it, but I didn't, know it kind of thing. So I got with a therapist here in the Phoenix area. I got with a Buddhist therapist and I started working through all of this stuff because that's what you do. It's okay to be successful. And we get that fear of success from our abuser because if we were more successful than they were, if we did better than they did, they would either sabotage it or they'd put us down or they would ruin it or they would smear us or they would do something to take it away from us. They would take credit for it. That's what my dad did a lot. It's because of me that you're, and I'm just like, one-fingered salute, sir, So, yeah, and that's what they do. And they either steal the credit or they make us wrong for being more successful. How dare you? How dare you be more successful than me? How dare you, steal the spotlight, whatever. And they'll do that. And that's where we get that incredible fear of success. So the way to combat that, again, Self-Esteem Workbook, Glenn Schiraldi. You have the right to be successful. You do. You have your own value and your own worth, separate from your abuser. You have the right to be successful. The other thing I would do is I would do the mirror work. Hi, good to see you. Have a great day. You know what? It's okay for you to be successful. You don't have to sabotage. You get to be successful. And then walk out. And then at night, hi, good to see you again. Here are 3 things you did right today. And then you list off the things you've done right. Congratulations on being successful. And then go to bed. It's okay for you to be successful. Go to bed. So what you're doing is you're kind of working with that inner child and letting the inner child know, hey, little one, it's okay to be successful. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to do well. It's okay to surpass your abuser. It's okay to be a person in and of your own right and have your own success. It's okay. So Inner Child Workbook, either by Catherine Taylor or by Lucia Cappuccioni. Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. The Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker. The Body Keeps Score, Bessel van der Kolk. A lot of my fear was kept in my stomach area. So I would have upset stomachs all the time when I was a kid. I would be throwing up all the time. I was a nervous wreck because I never knew where my dad was going to be attacking next, either physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, or religiously. So pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body and soothe and comfort that part of your body. Bessel van der Kolk's book is amazing. I love him. He's awesome. He's a great guy. I really enjoy his stuff. So yeah, read that stuff and do take good care of yourself and do give yourself permission to be successful, and it's okay. And I get to enjoy it. So enjoy your success. It's okay. It's totally, totally okay. So, all right, kiddos. This next week, I'm going to be talking about Holier Than Thou. So we're going to be talking about religious abusers, cults, people who use communal narcissists, so metaphysical abusers, the whole thing, because there's a bunch of them out there and you need to know what to look for. So, All right, my loves, you guys be good, and I will talk to you on Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. All right, talk to you later. Bye.